Welcome back. Now listen to this.
It's time for teenage kicks. Remember those cars that you lusted after as a teenager, but you couldn't afford to buy, let alone insure? My goodness, 1987, what was going on there?
Oh, it's the year Fred Astaire died.
Yeah, Fred Astaire, Pat Cash won Wimbledon, and a company called the Tomaso made this car, the Pantera. Isn't she lovely? Are we all taking a few grams of CO2 in? Yeah? No, turn her off, turn her off, mate.
It's a lovely sound, but we'll be shouting for the next 5 minutes if we don't turn it off.
Have you ever seen one of these before or not? No. Very, very, very rare car. Very, very special car. Bit of a hybrid, Italian styling, built in Italy, but with a big Ford Cleveland V8 engine sat back there. And this is the GT5S. This was kind of towards the end of the life cycle of this car. 400 brake horsepower.
Whoa.
0 to 60 in this, 5.5 seconds. Now, they actually did 3 different diff ratios, gearing ratios on the car. So, it could do 140 top speed, or 160, or you could actually get one to do 190. How much fun would that be? It's lovely, isn't it?
Well, it is. I mean, on a hot, sunny day, which actually you wouldn't know from being in here today, but it's boiling in there. It's one of those special cars that's just amazing to be in and to drive, but as an everyday car, I just couldn't. Oh,
yeah, but you wouldn't, would you? Because this needs to be special. Look at the back here. Just like a Lamborghini. It looks like a Countach, doesn't it?
It's fabulous and it's special.
Interesting story.
Hard work.
Ford wanted to buy a Ferrari. Mr. Ferrari said no. So Ford then went and talked to an Argentinian businessman, Mr. De Tomaso, and he said, yeah, fine, and they did kind of a deal. So for a little while, this company was actually owned by Ford, never made any money, sold it back to the Argentinian, and he carried on making cars. So this really is a very, very exotic, very, very special car. Do we want to know what this would cost?
Yes.
Because we're all getting our checkbooks out now, and I think between us we might just be able to afford it. This is a 1987 on an E. New, this car, depending on spec, would have cost you £55,000. Whole rack of money, 87, 20 years ago. Today, do you know what? Car's still worth £50,000. A sound investment, methinks.
A very lovely car.
You're loving it, aren't you?
I am loving it. It's a very, very big price.
But, listen, the Tomaso is not the only supercar that we've got on our super show. Miss Mallory, bring on the Ferrari. Now, the biggest expense of running any new car is depreciation, but here at the Used Car Roadshow, we firmly believe that if you buy the right used car at the right price, you can run it depreciation-free for a year.
You are joking, Jason. This cannot seriously be on your list for free motoring.
Of course it is. Of course it is. It's the obvious choice, isn't it? I mean, you know, if you don't want to lose money on a car, you buy one of these. This little beauty is a Ferrari 328. Now, I know that you passionately love these cars, don't you?
I'm very fond of this car, I have to say.
You are. And it did suit you, I must say. You kind of sat there, you looked right. I'm a bit of a 308 man. People who've been watching the series last year may have remembered me dressed as Magnum P.I. But I've got to say, I would not object to this little baby. Now, this is actually a contemporary of that Pantera that we had just now, because it's a 1986 car. But Ferrari did it very, very differently. Instead of having a massive, great big V8, they had a relatively delicate 3.2-litre V8. Quad cam, 4 valves per cylinder, 32 little valves clattering away in the back there, and produced 270 brake horsepower.
But about the same performance.
Well, yeah, a little bit slower. 0 to 60 about 6.3, 6.4, but still 163 miles an hour. And what is beautiful about this, transaxle, that beautifully, beautifully balanced. I mean, physically, isn't it? So much smaller than the car we've just seen.
And it's much more drivable. When you're in it, it just feels more comfortable and more... It's more me, anyway.
It's more you.
It's less masculine. Maybe
what do you like?
Say that.
It's red. That's what you like, isn't it? I think it's gorgeous. But who'd like one of these?
Well...
We'd all like one of these. Well, the good news is, when I show you the figures, we're all a little bit closer to maybe owning one of these than the car we've just seen. So, let me tell you all about the car. This car is a 1986 on a Charlie. It's done 44,000 miles from new in 21 years, so 2,000 miles a year, which is kind of good news because you want to keep these cars being driven. New back then, it would have cost you £36,000. Remember what that Pantera was going to cost today? 50 grand. This is going to look a bargain to us. £27,000 will buy this car.
And you reckon you